This episode of Spectre Sound Studios is brought to you by Spectre Digital. Experience the Extinction Level event today.
Remember, kids, with the expensive guitar is the only way to make multi-platinum selling albums. Make sure you use the expensive pickups, cables, and strings. If you don't have cobalt cover strings, then you are screwed.
Don't you love it that the gear manufacturers have your best interests at heart? Let's get this show on the road. This is SMG Viewers Comments, the show that's about you, not about me. So let's get to your comments and questions right now.
Back in the 80s, the guitar stores used to laugh and say Japanese guitars were junk. They called Ibanez's I've been hads. I guess Joe Satriani didn't mind getting screwed over.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure if a lot of kids remember that. I absolutely remember the phrase I've been had back in the 80s, and I thought it was fucking ridiculous because Ibanez made some absolutely amazing guitars. I was absolutely thrilled with what was coming out in the 80s. They were super fucking amazing. You know, that's the thing. I really haven't had too much Ibanez on the show. I mean, like in my early days, I had like a 7-string Ibanez I picked up dirt cheap at Guitar Center. That actually sounded pretty fucking good. I think they're a tremendous brand. I think they build amazing guitars. We got to remember, this is probably before Steve Vai started playing them exclusively, because I think Steve Vai actually started out as a Jackson artist. But when he started kind of going off on his own, he started playing Ibanez, especially those 7-string gems, you know, with the handles and all the rest of this shit that goes along with it. That's when the respect for that brand really came along. But again, I mentioned this last week, you know, with the thing about Chinese brands and whatnot. There's an awful lot of racism in North American culture when it comes to brands from the Far East. It really doesn't matter. You know, we saw it in the 80s with the Japanese guitars. We're seeing it today with the Chinese guitars. Racism just keeps going on and on and on because people fucking suck and can't look past the country of origin when they're looking at a quality instrument. And that's really the only explanation I have for it is fucking racism. If I'm wrong here, please feel free to leave a comment below and correct me and explain to me how guitars from foreign lands are somehow magically inferior based on anything other than race.
Best entry-level guitars are Ibanez. Although Ibanez has some really expensive guitars, their $200 to $500 guitars are absolutely stellar. I play ESP and Gibson mostly, but I enjoy Schecter and Ibanez a lot. Bang for the buck, they're hard to beat. Oh, Epi has definitely kicked up their game in the last few years. Don't currently own any Epis, but have been interested in the Alex Lice and Ethathon. Those Epis with the Fishmans look pretty nice too. But yeah, I don't get the Gibson haters. All of mine have been absolutely killer guitars.
Now this is the aforementioned dirt cheap Ibanez I picked up at Guitar Center for like $299. Killer guitar. I just put a Seymour Duncan in on it because I thought that pickup sounded a little bit better. You know, just looking down the neck here, yeah, it definitely needs an adjustment. The neck's kind of got a little bit of a bow in it. Action's just a little high for my taste behind the 12th fret, so yeah, I'd probably need to take the truss rod down 1/4 to 1/2 a crank to get it back into playing position. But yeah, absolutely stellar guitar. Yeah, I've got no problem with any guitar, no matter what the country of origin. I think that's just fucking stupid that we have to deal with this nonsense. And that's really what it is. It's absolute nonsense, unless you can make a valid fucking argument otherwise, like a poor quality instrument, sure, whatever. But you have to be able to look past name tags and the country of origin and just look at the instrument for what it is. That being said, I just got contacted by a small builder from the Himalayas in Nepal, and they want to send me a guitar, so I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully that's going to happen this fall. I'm really kind of interested to see what kind of guitars come out from that part of the world. As per the end of your statement there about all your Gibsons being killer, you know what? That's fine. I've certainly played enough killer Gibsons in my day. Yeah, I've seen some absolutely stellar ones come in here to the studio, especially like an Explorer. I had one come in a while back that was absolutely fucking great. I've got no hate for the brand other than the fact they charged me nearly $3,000 for a shit fucking paint job. That does tend to sour one's opinion on the brand just a little bit.
Halfway through point number 1, it reminded me of Bruce Dickinson's book, What Does This Button Do?, where he mentioned how his drama help classes helped his showmanship as a frontman. You want to be entertaining? Learn how to be entertaining.
Oh yeah, phenomenal book. I read that too. That was a hell of a story. Really cool read. If you're looking to kill some time on a road trip or whatnot, you know, get the audiobook because he narrates it himself and it's absolutely phenomenal. Great fucking stuff in there. I would agree about the taking drama classes. I've had that happen where I had a drama guy come in who was also fronting a metal band, and he really wasn't the greatest singer, and I lent him my copy of The Zen of Screaming. He came back in 2 weeks and absolutely fucking nailed it. You know what? He was very entertaining on stage as well because he does understand how to connect to an audience. So if you want to sing in a band, yeah, maybe take a drama class. That might just help quite a bit.
This drum pack kicks ass! fast. I've recently gone from Audacity and GarageBand set up to Reaper and Contact. It's been night day difference and all the better. The UIs are better. The samples are better. On top of that, I don't have to use the damn iMovie app anymore. Thank you so much for giving us great content with information that's actually useful. Loving the ELE pack and still exploring the Reapack plugin you demoed. For the people like me doing solo projects, free apps can give a decent sound with a lot of work, but they can only get you so far.
Well, William, thanks so much for writing that in. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, this episode is sponsored by Spectre Digital. Yes, we've got Extinction Level event out right now. It is our library for Contact, and we went to great lengths to bring some much needed realism into the realm of programmed drums. There's customizable bleed functions that really do make all the difference, because real drums have the sound of mics bleeding into one another. A snare mic shouldn't just pick up the snare. It should pick up the snare and a whole bunch of other crap too. That is the sound of real drums. So if you're looking to step up your programmed drums game, if you're sitting at your desktop composing and you want to get yourself something really awesome with an added emphasis on realism, check out Extinction Level event. The link is in the video description.
As a frontman, I actually appreciate this video. I feel if you take yourself serious, then this stuff should be obvious. I think a big elephant in the room as a frontman isn't addressed as how to kill dead air. Silence is deafening, and I feel unless there's something of impact or importance coming after the silence, there should always be audible movement. That makes sense, not just tuning the guitar out loud. This comes down to organization and premeditating sets. Not saying just the backtracks, but create live song transitions and have a riff designed for the crowd communication. Glenn is spitting some real game here. Thanks, G, and unfuck you, Glenn. I got a huge respect towards what you do and everything it took you to get where you're sitting. Take care.
Dude, that's a great observation about the whole dead air thing. You know, when I used to sing in a band back in the early 90s, you know, my bandmates would scream at me, dude, you got to figure out some way to talk to the crowd. But that's all the help they'd give me, is just, dude, you got to fix that. And they give me absolutely nothing to go on. And, you know, that does take a lot of practice, learning how to engage with the audience, because, yeah, if you're fronting a band, it's all up to you. And that's when the whole self-conscious thing kicks in. That's when the imposter syndrome kicks in. What am I doing here? Holy shit. I even had like a small breakdown on stage one night on a jam night where I got a horrible sense of fucking stage fright right in the middle of the fucking set. It happens. It's just how we're fucking wired. Sometimes that happens, and yeah, that's something you've got to work towards. If you are fronting a band, I'd highly recommend going to check out a Steel Panther show, because those guys know how to engage an audience and definitely keep them entertained between the songs. You can tell they spent a lot of time on it and honed their game, but fuck, are they ever amazing at what they do. Highly, highly, highly recommend that show over, say, your average, 8-string gent-core prog band that's going to play, 12-minute instrumentals and, stare at the floor the whole time. But I get it. Maybe you find that shit entertaining. And then again, maybe you like watching grass grow.
Glenn speaks the gospel.
The gospel is bullshit. I speak the truth.
Summary of this entire show. I'm a cheapskate hobbyist, but my gear is just as good as people actually know how to use it and care enough about it to spend more. This guy is a total hack, a near total amateur phony who's never done anything to justify giving other people advice. He just wanted to start a YouTube channel for his hobby, but somehow it worked. But you definitely shouldn't listen to him. He has no idea what he's talking about on 99% of the things he yells about. If he could get away with it, he'd be selling you crack plugins. Total con artist.
By Crom! You figured it out! What am I ever gonna do?
But there's no reason to downtalk expensive guitars either. But if you buy in the expensive range, better go to a small luthier that builds you the exclusive instrument of your dreams.
Absolutely 100% agree with that. If you're going to drop a shit ton of money, maybe see if there's somebody locally who builds a cool fucking guitar. That way, if you run into any quality issues, you're really not going to run into any problems about getting it tweaked or fixed or whatnot. I'm all about supporting local small business. Absolutely. I want to see the local luthier succeed at what they're doing. I've definitely had several small builders on the show. We've had Charbonneau on here several times over the years, and they're based out of Montreal. They build absolutely amazing stuff. Guy works out of his basement, builds really amazing guitars. Let me show you what I mean. Like this guitar. This guitar was not cheap at all. It's custom with just 2 volume knobs and no tone knob, and the switch so you can make like a dead man switch kind of thing like here. So, hip shot bridge, got a little brass weight in the back for added sustain, hopefully, and just beautiful action. Probably needs to be tuned just a little bit. It's been a little while since I played it. But yeah, this is handmade by Pierre Charbonneau in Montreal. Phenomenal guitar. Absolutely one of my favorites. And yeah, I can't see enough good things about it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with expensive guitars at all. If you want to buy something, yeah, Go get a custom job. Don't drop a lot of money on a guitar that comes from an evil corporation that does shit paint jobs.
Speaking of the sledgehammer, when are you bringing it back as the hammer of truth?
Yeah, funny you mention that. I've got this Alex Steel hammer that's been dying to be tried out on like some smaller things like crappy pedals or whatnot. This is an Alex Steel forging hammer. I got that from the guys over at the Alex Steel show. Thanks very much for that, guys. I don't bring out the hammer that much. It's for the truly awful gear that I can find no redeeming values on. Say like the Clark Technique Pultec ripoff EQ, because that thing was just a rampaging pile of dog shit. I know that video hurt a lot of feelings, but again, my ultimate goal here is to save you money, not piss you off. Maybe fucking pay attention to what I'm saying. Oh my God, I can't believe he broke that. Yes, because it was a piece of shit. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I can take this to a crap pedal or something like that. That might be kind of fun. I got one of these horrible zoom things. Probably needs a rearrangement with this, so that might help. But the big thing is, the camera of truth is kind of like my fiery phoenix, going back on the anime references that I made there last week. If you ever watch Battle of the Planets, they only brought out the fiery phoenix once in a blue moon, and that's what made it special. Kind of the same thing here. Familiarity breeds contempt, and I don't want to overdo the hammer of truth thing. I want to use it to drive home a very special message when a piece of gear is very, truly awful. Like the Marshall Code.
I just saw a job listing online for DW Drums looking for more drum production people. They're only paying $16.50 to $17 an hour. So they make high-end drum kits, but can't pay their employees living wages. That's sad. It ain't cheap to live in California.
Oh, you're not fucking kidding. $17 an hour to make drums for DW? Like, what the fuck? How the hell is anybody supposed to afford rent on that kind of fucking wage there, DW? I'm very fucking curious. If you do the inflation calculation, if you made $5 an hour back in the 70s or whatnot, you could actually afford to live on that shit. Just looking on the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics right here, $5 an hour in January 1979 would be the equivalent of $21.69 today. So anybody who tells you, oh, kids shouldn't make $15 an hour is completely full of fucking shit, because even $15 an hour isn't enough to live off. And $16 an hour for making fucking super high-end drums like DW, that's fucking criminal. Fuck you, DW.
Oh my God, what will happen to resale values when everyone figures out how bad the name brands have been screwing people over?
Yep, what will happen to those resale values? Oh no, especially when people smarten up and realize that, vintage guitars are just a fucking piece of wood and some wires. That's it. Remember, art has no value unless you give it value. Same thing applies to guitars. Do you want to be a musician or do you want to be a collector? Make a fucking choice.
Talented people can play with cheap guitars and sound great. Other people become collectors of expensive gear, so the lack of musicianship can be hidden.
Oh, I'm a terrible musician, but I still love my cheap guitars.
I'm not saying Harley Benton equipment is bad. Honestly, I don't know, because I've never tried either of the guitars or the amps. However, a new kid checking out your channel might think you're a shill for the brand. I'm not saying your appreciation for HBs is misplaced, but when the subject of overpriced garbage comes up, I can almost beat you to the punchline extolling HBs attributes. I think maybe glary guitars are not all that bad, but other brands of $400 range that seem to be good reviews from some other reviewers. To be honest, I'd love to see more Fearless Gear reviews on other brands. Of course, that's money out of your pocket, so I wouldn't expect any of your reviews to be immediate and ongoing. I'm just saying, uneducated non-viewer might ask how much Harley Benton is paying you. I would never ask that. I know better.
Other than affiliate links and the occasional guitar, Harley Benton doesn't pay me anything, just to be very, very clear there. I'm not on Harley Benton's payroll. Sorry. Okay, I just think they're cool fucking guitars, and if I don't think they're cool, I'm not going to put them on the fucking show. But that is a good point, though. Maybe we can do some Fearless Gear reviews on some cheaper guitars. I think that's a fabulous idea. Try and find some value brand guitars. I mean, Fearless Gear reviews are all funded through you guys on Monday Mix Reviews, and right now we're on hiatus as of the time of this show airing, because I'm traveling through Europe right now. So that'll be back near the end of September. I do those Monday mornings and evenings. If you want to get your mix checked out and you want to get some feedback and maybe some help, drop by, make a donation. I'll be more than happy to put it on the show and give you my honest opinion and hopefully make some suggestions on the way to help you make better mixes. Now, I do absolutely love that 7-string Ibanez I was showing you guys earlier, and that was a very cheap guitar. I think that's a good idea to maybe check out some cheaper models from other brands just to see what's great and what's not. That's a phenomenal idea. I think I'm going to put that into rotation, because I think we could do some really awesome content and hopefully benefit the guitar community as a whole. Great idea, man. I'm going to make that happen.
Hey Glenn, I'd like to know what's your take on the Joyo Bantcab. It's one of those made in China cabs, been looking its review everywhere, but none of them are thorough enough. Could maybe idea for a review for you, maybe?
I don't know about the Joyo stuff. Honestly, the best bang for the buck cabinet on earth is the Harley Benton 2x12 with the vintage 30s. They're only a couple $100 and worth every penny. I don't know how the hell they managed to make them so cheap, probably because they buy in volume. Definitely go over to Toman and check that out. Yes, here I am shilling for a Harley Benton. Yeah, I'm not getting paid to say that, but they are absolutely stellar cabinets. I am going to try this though. I was checking out Johan Segboard's channel when I was doing the research on the blackback speakers, and I'm going to try doing that to some vintage 30s and sand them down, especially the newer Chinese ones, just to see if we can take some of the bite off of them and maybe smooth them out a little bit. I don't know how that's going to work. I'll pay to make that mistake, because I think that's a worthy subject worth pursuing, especially when you play older vintage 30s that have been broken in a lot more, and maybe they lose a bit of their stiffness and rigidity. Maybe the sanding thing works in the same way. Maybe it's complete nonsense. Who the fuck knows? But we should definitely put that one to the test. I'm writing that down, actually.
As someone who's recently spent 6 years teching on tour for one of these new country auto-tune quantized second-rate Def Leppard copycats with rapping and banjos bands, all I can say is that you have no idea, or maybe do, how accurate you are with that statement. At this point, I've probably heard Pour Some Sugar on Me covered more times than by bro country bands than I've actually heard the original.
Really? Ugh. That sounds horrible. Dude, I guarantee you're not getting paid enough to put up with that shit.
Glenn, can you confirm or deny rumors that you'll be appearing on season 2 of Shoresy?
That's news to me, dude, but hey, if those guys want to get me on the show as a guest or something like that, I am all for it. I would love to do that. Honestly, I think the guys doing Shoresy and Letterkenny are doing the impossible. They're making Canadian television actually entertaining.
It always bothers me when asshats try to shame people who buy guitars made in China. They claim the moral high ground while typing on a smartphone, which was made in China.
Yeah, irony's not their strong suit.
I love how Americans talk about slave labor in China, and in the meantime, U.S. citizens have to decide between calling an ambulance to save their life and being able to eat next month.
Hey man, don't talk shit about the land of the free, because in America, you are free to do anything you want except criticize America. Fuck you, man. Get your priorities straight. America, fuck yeah! All right. That's it for this episode. Hey, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love America and Americans. Most of my best friends are from America. It's a great place to visit, but I've got an aversion to lead poisoning, so I don't think I want to live there. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. Make sure you check out Extinction Level Vent if you want to step up your desktop drum game and get some much needed realism in your mixes. What's more, I'm also going to do this if you're a brand new customer to Spectre Digital. If you follow the link in the description below and sign up for the Spectre Digital mailing list, I'll give you 10% off your very first purchase of any individual item. That's absolutely right. 10% off any single item in the store. All you got to do is sign up. Check it out. I'll see you next time.